for thy foot to be moved. He that keep thee will not slumber, yo. He shall neither sleep nor slumber. His foundation on the holy mountain.
Yes, people.
Standing the sinking sun.
That's right.
Lion of the tribe of Judah's overall.
And of course, you're locked into the Big Bad Station with yours truly, DJ Kat, the Kat-a-lyst.
Mountain. I not standing the sinking sun. The lion of the tribe of Judah's overall.
We have a very special guest joining us.
Just kingdom come, wicked them a run. One by one I miss out of Babylon.
Yes, people, big shout out to each and everyone locking in and tuning in, shedding lots of love, lots of blessings. It's greatly appreciated. And of course, we've got a special caller, okay? And you know what? He's going to talk to us about sound system, about the sound system culture, his experiences, his journey. So, of course, man, Bill, you there?
Yes.
Yeah, man, we keep meeting up, don't we? We keep linking.
Yeah, because we're doing the same work on, so it's all good. And greetings to all the Arawak family across the globe, online, Rastafari, ISIS, and we give thanks.
Every time. So of course, let the listeners know who you are and a little bit about who you are as a sound man and your journey.
So, family, my name is DJ Manfibil. I am one of the co-founder members of Anbessa Sound System, which was launched and founded in 1977 to Clash. And we, the original Rasta sound.
Yeah.
The UK, Europe, and across the globe. Even in Jamaica, 12 Tribe Sound didn't start for a year or so after. And so I'm going to be speaking about some of the experience with more. And for them, I know more Anbessa means, it means conquering lion in Amharic dialect of Ethiopia.
Nice. So you know what, Manfred Bill, what made you and the crew make this happen? How did it all kind of happen for you to be the first sound?
That's a very good question. So, 1974,
yeah,
I joined and I was with a sound called Lord David. Lord David is one of those foundations. And Lord David had a club. I have to give you this quick history, family.
Yeah.
Lord David had a club called the Caxton Hall, which was in Clapham North, London. And we spent a year and a half in this club trying to build it up, bringing in various different sound systems. And sometimes it was up, sometimes it was down. And it was kind of working and not working. Anyway, we played a couple of sessions with the original mighty Naki Shaka, the original Shaka, and after about 4 or 5 months, the club really started to pick up.
Yeah.
And cut a long story short, that club went on to be the most successful club on a Saturday night in London.
Wow.
And then we set up another club called Balham 200 Studio, which is in Balham, London, on a Sunday, and that club was also packed. So we spent a year and a half, 2 years playing with Shaka constantly every Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where I kind of got my grounding,
Yeah.
As someone that wanted to DJ on sound systems and toast. We used to call it toasting then.
Yeah.
In those. And that was my first introduction to sound.
Wow.
And what a better place to start, and to start with Chaka.
Yeah.
As we all know, and on to do amazing, incredible things within the sound system world.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, and I was always growing up as a young child here in the UK, I was always growing up and singing along to the music, and I just loved the melodies and the music, and I'm just listening to just reggae, family.
Yeah.
You know, whatever had a great melody for me, I was singing along with it, and that's where it stopped and started for me. It's like great lyrics, melodies, and a message within the musical lyrical content as well at the same time. So I joined Lord David, and I was what one would have said an understudy to my brethren Jagger. Jagger was the main toaster DJ at the time.
Yeah.
And I just got better and better and better over the years, and that kind of lifted up my iris, and I became one of the important members of Mombasa as a DJ host. Although the sound was owned by, we were all young. We were the youngest sound system on the planet, with Mombasa sound system. Anyway, just rewind to the Lord. He was making so much money, family, and in those days, you know, you're making £2,000-3,000 on one night on a Saturday, and he was doing simple things on a Sunday. And due respect to my name, I'll give you a fiver. So after a while, you know, we were really coming into the Rastafari liberty, 1974-75, and we were saying, no, this is not right. You know, this can't be right. You know, we're doing all the work here. The people are coming to really listen to us and see us, because we are and we were the people behind Lord David's sound system. Yeah. And it went on for about another few months, and we all decided, you know what, we've had enough of this. We're going to leave, and we're going to build our own sound system. Okay. And so, you know, we said, this was 1976 that time. Yeah. And we said, you know what, we have to launch our sound system when the two sevens clashed, 1977. Yeah. And we were looking around for a name, and, you know, said, oh, you know, everybody's calling their sound system after somebody else's name, and, you know, we have to find something that resonates, something that is cultural, and, you know, something is going to make an impact. Yeah. So we sat around and we deliberated and we reasoned amongst ourselves, and then one of our brethren, Big Youth, we called him a young Ras, that was ahead of his time, so we used to call him Big Youth. Yeah. And he said, oh, why don't we look at Conquering Lion? And we said, yeah, that's interesting. And then we all said, let's not look at the English interpretation of it. Let's find the Ethiopian American interpretation of it. Yeah. So we called up the Ethiopian embassy, and they gave us the name Mombasa. And that's how the name came about, and that's how the sound came about. Wow. And we worked hard through 1976, getting everything together. We didn't have anything, Kat-a-lyst. We didn't have one box, one speaker, nothing. All we had was some records and some bits and pieces and a microphone. Yeah. Anyway, we managed to build a couple of speaker boxes. Okay. And we painted the speakers in Ice Golden Green, which is the red, gold and green, as a lot of ones and one will be familiar with the Ethiopian flag. Yeah. And it was like, people had never seen anything like that in that time and in that day. And we managed to get together an amplifier, a turntable, and we launched with one piece of amp, the turntable and the preamp, a couple of tannoys and some tweeters, and we never looked back. We hit the road and we went out there boldly and proudly as Rastaman. Yeah. And and it took us all over England. Okay. And pretty much the rest is history. But there's a lot in between there, where there's a lot of ups and downs, as we know in life. Where sometimes you're on the road, you're not getting paid. You're running up and down in the snow, the sleet, the rain, hot summer, winter, and all the other elements.
Yeah.
And this is the love of sound system. You know, sometimes you never got paid.
Yeah.
And we put down our foot because we had experiences, you know, with Lord David. And we said, you know, we're not going anywhere unless you're going to pay us and you promote what you're doing properly. This is us talking to the promoters.
Yeah.
We're not going to turn up, and we're not going to involved in nothing. It's done at a highly professional level.
Yeah.
So then, Kat, you know, we were getting so many bookings. We were actually on the road 7 nights a week for the first 2 years of Mombasa Sound System. We never had no time to sit down. We were running from one club to the next. I don't know if some of the family are familiar with some of those clubs in the 70s. It would have been Norwich, Phoebe's, QB's, Brixton Town Hall, Acton Town Hall. I mean, you name it, Mombasa was actually on the billing. And as I said, we were young, and a lot of people thought they could just come and bully us, but we stood firm.
Yeah.
And you know, and we chant Rastafari.
Yeah.
And then they would pull out a crown and would flush out with natty dread and would start burn some fire upon our man.
Yeah.
You know?
I hear that.
And I was say, you know what? You can't come and bully us. We're firm.
Yeah.
And the Most High will smite the eye them, and you know, and we were just full of zeal.
Yeah, I
and
hear
full
that.
of love and inspiration at the same time.
Yeah.
Kat-a-lyst.
I hear that.
You know? Yeah.
I hear that. So, you know, when you built your sound system and you put your sound together for that first time, do you remember the tune that you played to test your sound?
Oh gosh. I won't begin to even say that I can remember.
Yeah.
I can't. But it would have been something cultural, and I got a sneaky suspicion it would have been Joseph Hill Culture.
Okay.
When the two devils clashed.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think, yeah, a historical pinpoint. If some of your audience are not familiar with the Two Sevens Clash, Two Sevens Clash is Marcus Garvey's prophecy, where he spoke about when the Sevens clash, there would be a bangarang in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And this is where this whole story and the Two Sevens clash came about, and culture, of course, crowned and made the song, the Two Sevens Clash.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been something that we'd have signed on with, you know, and playing songs like I Have to Praise You, Jaja, which is my prophet. And we built up a really strong relationship from Lord David sound. Kat-a-lyst family with a lot of the producers, the artists.
Yeah.
From Prince Jasbo, Jawash, Big Youth, and various other beats. Who else was around in those days? Dr. Alamantado.
Okay.
Keith Hudson. And so we were getting music left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
All angles. And a lot of the producers, Bonnie Lee, Joe Gibbs, Channel 1, Randy's, Lee Scratch Perry, and various other studios and producers that were around at the time.
Yeah.
Most of the things that were played on pre-release, 45, 7-inch, we were putting them on what we would dub play, which is a different version of the 45 at that time.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you think of where you guys started from and where you came to, and then you look at sound system now, are you happy with the sound system kind of culture? Because I know it's kind of steered towards Europe more of. But what's your thoughts about it?
Well, firstly, I haven't Europe, and even when we were in sound system in the 70s, we used to get a lot of Caucasians, Asians, and even Japanese people would come and listen to us.
Yeah.
And we used to say, wait, how are these people going to listen to us? And we're, not them personally and individually, but you used to burn out the system, the Babylonian system, and all that came with it. Yeah. You know, we were freedom fighters fighting for liberty and justice for our people. You know, so for me, I have no problem with these sound systems now, and I think it's a real great, it's just a great thing that is happening with the young people, that they're continuing the sound system tradition to keep the flag burning. You know, there are some preferences with me with some of the musical styles that they're playing, and some of the music that I'm hearing, but that's just my personal opinion. Yeah. And I always say to friends and family and people when I'm speaking about sound system, because everyone seems to think that what Shaka is playing was everything to do with sound system, and it isn't. Yeah. Shaka carved out his own unique niche after a certain time, and I'm talking about 1978, 79 going forward. Yeah. Shaka was playing most of what everyone else was playing. And then by around the late 70s, early 80s, Shaka said, oh, well, I'm not playing nobody music, I'm going to play film music and what he produced. Because he had a point that a lot of those people weren't supporting what we were doing in the music. Yeah. And so he started to play his own productions, and hence that's how we heard Shaka in this day and age, playing lots of drum and bass and with effects through it. But in the early days, people would not even begin to imagine how Shaka was playing. Okay. I mean, I got tunes here, and if I played them, people say, Shaka, I played that. I say, yes, I played that. Talking about whether the message in the music was social consciousness, love, with a man and a woman, or love and unity on other levels. Yeah, I hear that. Being Catholic, the young people aspire for the sound system, keep and the music going, but they should come up their uniqueness, what they're doing, not to follow and copy what everyone else is doing. Yeah. As Rasta, we always used to say, oh, we're not following, you know. We are originators, we're not followers. Yeah. So, you know, drop loose like that. We are not follower, we are originator, you know, so to speak. So, you know, it's down to each individual to find his own unique way through the music, and you have to find your own USP, family. Don't follow what everyone else is doing, because it becomes boring. That's it. And this is just like, it's just like the music industry. If everyone sounded the same, it wouldn't happen, would it?
Well, some people do still sound the same, you know.
I agree. Yeah. But and you hit it on the nail there, Kat-a-lyst, in the sense that, you know, in the 70s and 80s, most artists had their own unique sound. Yeah. And like hundreds of them. Hundreds of artists, groups and bands, their own unique sound. Whether it was Kiruru, the Diamonds, Peters, Culture, Dennis Brown, Julie Gardo, I mean, the list is endless. Yeah. All of these people had their own unique sound. I do agree with you. Nowadays, everyone's trying to copy everyone else. Yeah. It ain't working. Yeah. It's like, well, haven't you got your own thought and your own imagination?
Well, I think nowadays it's to set a trend, isn't it, online, and so you can get that viral vibe, I suppose.
Well, if you say so,
I'm not sure it's my thing, but you know, lots of people, that's what they're into, in getting those likes and shares and whatever else on the internet.
Yeah, I hear you, sis. I hear you. You know, and you know, just to reflect with from those days, you know, we have to remember. Yeah. We didn't have no newspaper, we didn't have no radio or no TV. We had one radio program, which was used to come on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of original founder members and people who grew up in those days would have known Tony Williams' show on a Sunday. It was called Rice and Peas. And there was one other show, which was, I just can't remember the name of the DJ, but anyway, so for us, sound system was like the media.
Yeah.
And the media, where you could go out and listen to what was happening in Jamaica, what was happening here in the UK, and of course some of the lyrical content on the records would reflect that.
Yeah.
Again, it was social consciousness, cultural awareness, love and harmony, hate, peace, joy, happiness. I mean, it was through the music.
Mm.
And this is how we grew and how we, we got the knowledge.
Yeah, I hear that. 100%.
Yeah.
It was like an education, wasn't it?
Total education.
Yeah.
It was I don't know what we would have done in those days.
Yeah.
Sitting around in our thumbs, we could be at home reasoning with one another and reading the prophecy at the time.
Yeah.
And doing what we do. But beyond that, there needed to be other things that we had to look at to move ourselves forward.
I hear that.
For real.
So, for those who are listening and might not necessarily know what a sound system is 100%, how would you describe a sound system for somebody that's never heard of a sound before?
Yeah, that's another brilliant question. And it's in the 70s.
Yeah.
When we were moving our boxes and our equipment into clubs, the club owners used to look at us and say, "Well, where are you going with that, mate? You can't bring that in here. This is not a disco."
Yeah.
And we used to say, "No, it's not a disco. This is a completely different setup from a disco."
Yeah.
So if people understand in the way of how a disco set used to be, had speakers, turntable, microphone, and leads and plugins and everything else, some effects and what have you. This sound system is on a more of a gigantic scale.
Yeah.
And in those, you had speaker boxes, we used to call. I mean, these was because they're like as big as fridges or juggernauts, we used to call it. So a sound system, basically, family, it is amplifier. Now, I have to break this down again because we used to play what we call weight, middle and treble.
Yeah.
And that consisted of the bass, which was isolated, the middle, which was isolated, and the top treble was isolated.
Mm.
On our preamp, separate everything.
Yeah.
So if you just want to get the bass, you could click off a switch and you just get the bass. Same with the middle and same with the top end.
Yeah.
It became known as white and treble in the music and the sound system fraternity. So with these large speakers, anything ranging from 15 inch upwards to the bass. In the middle, we used to have what we call tannoy. I think people should be aware of tannoys.
Yeah.
The tannoy would carry middle section sound, which would be more the voice and some of the other instrumentation. And then on the top of those boxes, we used to have what we call tweeters or horns.
Yeah.
And the horns would carry the top frequency of the music position.
I hear that.
So if you can imagine 3 sections, you got leads that plug in from the back of the amplifier into the back of the speaker boxes, and then we had a setup which was connected from the the preamplifier to the turntable, and if we had effects, we used to have what we call spring reverbs in those days. This is a small box, and it had a spring in the middle of it, and you used to lift it up, and it would make a vibration sound.
Okay.
Such a and the time, movement, and equipment changed, and things got better. Plus, had we call a copycat echo. I don't know if you're familiar with any of this stuff.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good. And so this copycat echo machine was incredible.
Yeah.
Anbessa was one of, if not the first, to hook up this echo copycat to our turntable and to our microphone. That means when you lift up the record,
yeah,
you would hear the echo or the reverb.
Okay.
It was just another ballgame.
Yeah.
Onto what we call a Roland Space Echo. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
This was about £600 at the time.
Yeah.
And this is a really high quality, high professional studio.
Yeah.
And I was with it, and we had one at the time. We used to use either Shaw needles or Stanton. And again, at the time, the best needles at the time to play records on Stanton.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Yeah, similar with the Gerard.
Yeah, I hear that. So you know what, Manfred Bill, I mean, I could talk to you for hours and hours on end about sound system, but we're coming to the last little bit of the interview. I'm sure we're going to speak again because there's so much history that you have. But as a toaster, I know you must have some lyrics that you can share with the listeners. Would you be up for that?
Off the top of my head?
Of course. You have to do that in a dance.
So, I think I will say, if you don't use it, and if you're not using your voice or your vocal, your DJ skills, after a while, you kind of, it's there, but it's not there, if you get my.
I do get what you mean.
Yeah, I'm capable of doing that. So I give you something. Okay, my brothers and sisters, the big day, say, and I hope you're feeling fine. I'm right about now, Kat-a-lyst and Mich bit more Anbessa, gonna make you ours and make you mine. This is a musical shock attack designed to hit you in your back, and it's gonna rock you not down from the top to the very last drop. And I say, let them arise and let all his enemies be scattered back and shattered. Basically something in a nutshell.
Yeah, you know? Nice, man, nice.
Yeah, next time we speak, I'm gonna the more Anbessa, the two labels that we launched, and the music and the stuff that we produced over the years. Yeah. We as you say, have to do that another time.
100%.
It's convenient.
Yeah, man. You know what, Manfred Bill? I feel like I said, you're a library within one person. You have so much knowledge, so much to give, and let the people know about what you've done as a sound system man, you know? And I hope and I pray that somewhere people are writing this down. I mean, I'm recording it, you know, so that we can keep it going and we can have the knowledge that you have, for real.
Yeah, I would appreciate, Kat, if you are recording it, if you can please send me a copy.
Of course.
The other original co-founder members of Anbessa.
Yeah, man.
The Lloyd, who we used to call Wolfman, Jagger, Ferris, Gary, Irving Big, Prince Tony, DC, and DC and man, it's just so many names. I should have written this down. But Prince Tony, Killer, who is Palmer,
Yeah.
and we used to refer to him as Asher, Yatta, Prince Crusoe, Paul Coates, Corstred, and there are various other younger people that used to trot around us. Derek, Errol, who we now refer to as Imhotep,
Yeah.
and I just want to salute these people because it wasn't just about us, the elders, but
Yeah.
they used to look at the younger people as no box boys neither.
Nice.
It's like, it's us, we're working it together, unified, and we're showing the other members in the sound system fraternity that this is how we're moving as young people.
For real.
Rastafari, I give thanks, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Menen.
Every time.
Guidance and protection be with the eye, and I have to send you some of the music as well.
Yeah, man. I would love that. I would literally love that. For real, I would love it.
Yeah, real.
You know,
reason we off air about some other things as well. Anyway,
100%, 100%. And you know what? People are sending you love, and they're saying thank you for your works. They say that they enjoy listening to you. You're like a history within itself. So yeah, man, keep the vibe and the energy coming. And anytime you want to come on the radio, promote music, things like that, definitely feeding that energy, for real.
give thanks, family, and thank you for the messages of love and Isis and Kat-a-lyst.
Yeah.
Where is your station based, please?
We're in Coventry.
In Coventry. Okay. Well, we salute all of the people in Coventry and around those areas, because we pass through all of those areas. Keep writing, guys. Doing good work. Yeah.
More love every time. We'll speak again soon. I'm sure of that.
Isis, I.
More love. Bless up. Bless.
I am.
Yes, people, please do go and check out the sound. Mo and Bassa, definitely a vibration. Okay, roots, and the energy is just unbelievable. Keep the vibrations going. Right now, we're taking you to some more great tunes, so keep it locked into the big bad station with yours truly, DJ Kat, the Kat-a-lyst, each and every time. Big shout out to everybody as well who was sending lots of positive messages. It's always a blessing when we have artists on, we have DJs on. It's always a blessing to know that people are there listening in, locking in and loving the vibrations.